You unlock your phone to watch one video. Just one. A dog misses a jump. A stranger explains a scientific fact. Someone cooks a meal you will never make. A headline appears, disappears, and is replaced by something completely different. You swipe again and again. Then you look at the time. What felt like 5 minutes was actually 45. You never decided to spend that long scrolling. So why was it so difficult to stop? The answer is not simply that you lack self-control. It begins with the design of the feed itself. Most experiences contain signals that tell us when they are complete. A book reaches the end of a chapter. A film rolls its credits. A newspaper runs out of pages. These moments do not force you to stop, but they create an opportunity to decide whether you want to continue. They are called stopping cues. Infinite scroll removes many of them. There is no final page waiting below the last post. When one video ends, another is already there. Sometimes it begins automatically, before you have consciously chosen to watch it. The feed does not ask whether you still want to continue. It simply gives your thumb somewhere else to go. And because a swipe requires almost no effort, continuing is often easier than stopping to make a new decision. But removing the ending is only the beginning, because the next video contains something the current one does not. Possibility. You rarely know exactly what the next swipe will reveal. It could be forgettable, or it could be funny, surprising, useful, disturbing, or so perfectly matched to your interests that it feels as if the feed understands you. Most videos are not extraordinary, but the next one might be. This uncertainty matters because the brain is constantly learning from the difference between what it expects and what actually happens. Dopamine participates in that learning. It helps the brain update predictions, direct motivation, and learn which actions may be worth repeating. But dopamine is often misunderstood. It is not simply a chemical form of pleasure, and there is no reason to assume that every swipe produces an identical dopamine hit. Scrolling is not controlled by one chemical or by one tiny pleasure button inside the brain. The experience is created by many processes working together: novelty, anticipation, emotion, habit, personal relevance, and the extremely low effort required to continue. The next swipe does not promise a reward. It promises the possibility of one. And sometimes, possibility is enough. But the content does not remain completely unpredictable, because while you watch the feed is also learning from you. Many interactions can become signals. You watch one video until the end. You leave another almost immediately. You replay a particular moment. You like, share, search, or comment. A recommendation system does not need to understand you in the way another person does. It only needs to become slightly better at predicting what you are likely to watch next. At first, the feed may test many possibilities: sports, food, science, comedy, news. As you respond, some paths grow brighter, while others slowly disappear. The system adjusts. Not every prediction succeeds, but each successful one makes another swipe easier to justify. This creates a feed that can feel intensely personal, even though it is built from patterns and behavior. And the better those predictions become, the less often you encounter a natural reason to leave. Yet while the feed learns where your attention goes, something stranger can happen to your sense of time. Most people do not begin scrolling by making one large decision. You probably do not think, "I will now spend the next 45 minutes moving through hundreds of unrelated videos." Instead, you make a series of very small decisions. One more, then one more. Each video is short. Each swipe is easy. And without a clear stopping point, there may be no single moment when continuing feels like a major choice. Researchers use the term scroll immersion to describe the experience of becoming deeply absorbed in a feed. Attention remains fixed on the stream of content, while awareness of time, and sometimes even awareness of the original goal, begins to fade. Time is not lost in one large decision. It disappears through hundreds of decisions too small to notice. This may help explain a familiar experience. You pick up your phone to answer a message, check the weather, or search for one piece of information. Then the feed opens. Several minutes later, you put the phone down without completing the task that brought you there. The missing time is easy to recognize. What rapid scrolling may do to attention and memory is more difficult to measure. In one experiment, researchers asked participants to remember an intention while they were interrupted by different forms of media. Participants who used a short video feed with rapid changes in context later performed worse on the prospective memory task than participants in the other conditions. Prospective memory is the ability to remember that you intended to do something. Send a message, turn off the oven, bring a document to work. The result offers one possible explanation for why you can open your phone with a purpose, become absorbed in short videos, and then forget what you originally intended to do. But the study was small. It measured an immediate effect after a particular task. It did not prove that short videos cause permanent memory damage. A later experiment also found poorer prospective memory performance after unrestricted, rapid switching. Here, too, the results must remain within their limits. They suggest that constant context switching may temporarily interfere with an intention. They do not show that a person's brain has been permanently rewired. Another series of experiments uncovered a different contradiction. People often switch videos because they are bored and hope the next one will be more engaging. Yet participants who repeatedly switched or skipped through videos sometimes became more bored, not less. By constantly searching for something more interesting, they may have prevented themselves from becoming deeply engaged with anything at all. A recent analysis combined 71 studies involving more than 98,000 participants. It found that heavier short-form video use was associated with poorer performance in areas such as attention and inhibitory control, along with some negative mental health outcomes. That is a reason to pay attention. But association is not causation. Heavy use might contribute to difficulties with attention. People who already find it difficult to regulate their attention may also be more drawn to rapidly changing feeds. Stress, age, sleep, environment, and the type of content being watched may influence both. The science does not support the claim that everyone who watches short videos is addicted. It does not show that an entire generation has lost the ability to focus. And it does not prove that scrolling permanently damages the brain. The evidence gives us reasons for concern, not permission for exaggeration. So, if infinite scroll makes continuing almost effortless, is there a way to make stopping easier? The answer may begin with restoring what the feed removed. Friction and stopping cues. A timer creates an ending before the session begins. Disabling autoplay, where that option exists, can insert a decision between two videos. Removing an app from the home screen adds one small step before opening it. Opening your phone with a specific purpose makes it easier to notice when that purpose has been replaced by passive scrolling. None of these methods is magical, and none of them requires you to reject technology. Their purpose is simply to interrupt the automatic sequence: watch, swipe, watch, swipe. Even a small pause can return a choice to the place where there was previously only momentum, because the feed does not remove your ability to decide. It changes the environment in which that decision must be made. The next video is already waiting. The next prediction has already been prepared, and the next swipe requires almost nothing from you. Stopping requires something more. It requires noticing that you are still there. The feed never asks what you intended to do with your time. It only asks whether you want to see what comes next. And the answer can always be yes, because there is always something next. Another face, another story, another possibility. That is the quiet power of infinite scroll. Not that it forces you to continue, but that it makes continuing easier than asking whether you still want to. The next swipe is effortless. The decision to stop is yours.